Hey, we're back. Part 2 of baking bread on a Friday night. Yeah. So, it's my starter. Here he is. And actual full disclosure, this is not the same starter as yesterday because I actually forgot to bake bread last night. So this morning, after drop off, I started the process again and mixed up my little batch of starter, and look at him now. By the evening time, he's, I don't know, I don't want to pour him out on the floor, but he's all bubbly and nice. Smells nice and zesty. So he's ready to go. And I've got all the rest of my ingredients all set up here. Flour. I actually like to cut my loaf with a bit of rye flour. So I've got white organic and some organic rye. I've got salt. I've got butter and sugar. Where's the sugar? I've got sugar and warm water. So I thought it'd be interesting to kind of make this real time for you so you can actually see how long it actually takes to do this. Not like in those cooking shows where they have everything pre-measured, which is basically like most of the work of cooking is like all the measuring and prep. And so it kind of gives you a false sense of how long things actually take. In any case, we're gonna make some bread. I've got my recipe here. And I'll share the link to this underneath the video. So I've got, my mixing bowl. I'm gonna do the measuring and stuff straight into the mixing bowl. I've got my scale again because that's super key for things turning out well. So I'm gonna set that there and turn my scale on. First thing we're going for is the flour. So it's 500 grams of flour altogether. So I usually like to do like 300 of white and then 200 of rye. So I'm at 0, 1, 3, approximate. So as far as I understand it from what I've read and researched and tried, you don't have to, like your starter doesn't have to match the flour that you're using in the bread. So I'm using just white flour in my starter, but the bread I'm making is rye and white. So we're gonna get up to 500 here of flour. Come along, let's speed this up a little bit, hey? Just a bit. One at a time now. We're almost there. Bear with me. Yes. Okay, so that's the flour. The next thing we're going to add, so you can like do the math like I said, or you can just zero it out in between. And then we're gonna go for 12 grams of sugar. Which is not much. Well, that's basically it. And then 9 grams of salt. Oops, what was that? I forgot to zero it. So it's got 12 and 9. 12 and 9 is 21. Yeah, there. And the last thing we're going to add now is the butter. And so that's like 4 tablespoons or 60 grams of butter. And I think that's what I have here in my butter dish. I'm just gonna, oops, I have to do math again. 60 here. Here we're just gonna, figure this out on the fly. I'm just gonna take that butter out and then I'm gonna press 0. That'll work, right? Okay. Oh yeah, perfect. Perfect. Okay, so basically this stuff here I'm just gonna throw on the mixer and then it just kind of like gets mixed all up together. Let me just confirm I'm not forgetting anything very important. Yep, flour, butter, sugar, salt. Okay, I'm just gonna throw this on the mixer. Wait, hark. We'll need one of these. Shout out to Patrick and Tamara in Mexico. They downsized and gave me their downsized so they could live in Mexico. Sounds pretty good to me. So we just want to get that incorporated a bit. So it's just kind of mixed up together. Now I'm going to put it back on my scale, zero it out, because the next thing I want to add is the water in the starter. And so my water, I need, let's see, 270 grams of warm water. So I got some just room temperature water here, and then I boil a kettle. This time it's boiled, it's hot. So I'm just going to add it to my cool water, and I'm just looking for a nice warm temperature. Not hot, but nice and warm. And then I'm just gonna pour this in there for 270. $2.15, $2.32. Aha, $2.70. And then we're going to add our starter. And we need a quarter cup or 50 grams. So let's just hit that, get to zero. Oh, and a way to know that your starter is ready to roll is that it floats when you pour it into water. And that means it's just like full of the gases that tell you that it's alive and well and ready to roll, which this guy certainly is. I'm just gonna use a spoon. And so like I was saying, when I do the amounts that I use in the starter that I showed in the last video is just about perfect for a single loaf of bread, because you can see what's left in here is, you know, pretty much nothing, but you know, that's enough to kind of get you going on another batch of starter. So in case, I actually have one in the fridge still, but if you needed to start a new little batch that you're going to put in the fridge for the next time, you can, this would give you enough to make a new batch. So that's pretty awesome. Hey, like so little waste, which is something that I really appreciate about the little system that I've got going. So in here I've just got the flour and the salt and the butter and the sugar, and then I've added the warm water and the starter, and I'm just going to put it back on the mixer. My paddle attachment, I think that guy's called. We basically just want to get that now incorporated, the flour, into the liquids, and just for a couple seconds, because what we're going to do is so now it looks like this, pretty rough still. So basically this now I'm going to leave, I'm going to take this all off of the beaters. And this stuff, I'm just going to pat it into a rough shape. Yeah, you gotta get a little bit dirty, don't you, when we're baking. I'm just going to pat it into a rough ball here, just to make sure I've gotten all of that flour cozied up with some of the wet stuff. And pat, pat. I'm just going to sit this now for half an hour. So you let it sit for half an hour. I'm just going to get my wet cloth, wash my fingers. So I try where possible to avoid using plastic wrap. So you can just get, the recipes always tell you to cover it with plastic wrap, and that's to keep the moisture in. So I just use like a wet tea towel, and I just cover it. And wet enough, not that it's dripping at all, but that it's moist enough that it's going to help keep the my dough moist, and I just kind of lay that on there. And I'm gonna leave this for half an hour. And then in half an hour, I'm gonna put the dough hook, which is this guy, the dough hook on my machine, and you're going to turn it on for about, 7 minutes, which, you know, at 9 o'clock at night can be a little bit annoying for folks, but you know, we live through it somehow. So anyway, 7 minutes, and then that's gonna get your dough nicely kneaded and everything incorporated. It turns into a nice smooth ball, which then, again, I just take it off, make it a nice ball, and then throw the wet or the damp tea towel back on top, and that sits on my counter overnight. And so tomorrow it'll have risen, by the morning time it'll been risen, I don't know, 12 hours, 10 or 12 hours or so, and it's gonna be a nice, beautiful little dome inside of the bowl in the morning. And from there, I basically take it out of the bowl, flatten it out, and then roll it up, and then put it into my buttered loaf pan, and then that sits for a couple hours again. And then in the evening time, late afternoon, then I can bake it, and it's ready for the evening. So great for like Saturday soup, or we could have it for Sunday morning. And actually this loaf, you know, after maybe having it for a nice meal on Saturday or Sunday, then we have enough bread to last us for the end of the week. For my son has like eggs and toast every morning, so maybe even a grilled cheese sandwich or two in there, and that does us really well. Anyway, I look forward to showing you what the finished product looks like when I bake it up tomorrow. So thanks for hanging out on a Friday night. Cheers! See you next time.